Group Chancy, Baran 320 Avenue. Your Worship, I'd like to begin by referring to what happened last night. And I'll be brief, and if you want to move me out of order, I'll respect it.
If you know it's not pertinent to the three bylaws, then why could you put me in that position? You
outlined certain guidelines and rules of procedure for the meeting, and I appreciated the fact that when Councillor Stevens interrupted me several times, you were firm and intervened and asked her to cease. One of the things that you did not do, but which was part of the rules.
I will suggest you go to the.
Well, I do.
I'm not going to deal with the rules to go on to the.
You said, though, with respect, that personal attacks were not to be allowed. And I considered that what Councillor Stevens did to me last night was a personal attack. She used the word bullying twice.
Can I suggest to you, Mr. Sebron, let's go to the bylaws. I hear you are concerned.
As a human being and as a citizen of this community, I could not begin tonight without sharing with you that comment.
Thank you.
Things seem to be working against me. I forgot my glasses and I had to borrow my wife's, so it wasn't that I was trying to be fashionable. My comments this evening will relate to the neighborhood plan, and I begin by saying I do not support the neighborhood plan in its current form for the following reasons. In my view, it will result in a decrease in the quality of life for the residents of Mission because of the many negative consequences that this huge development will inevitably bring. Other speakers have mentioned these consequences, which include poor air quality, contamination of groundwater, issues around wells that current residents now rely on, increase in traffic and air pollution, increase in crime and other related issues pertaining to safety and security of residents. I haven't got this written in, but it will also have an impact on the health of citizens because of the air quality, the air pollution, and the like. Secondly, the plan has not satisfied the residents that its implementation will not result in an unacceptable loss of wildlife, endangered species, and damage to critical fish habitat. The plan has not satisfied us about that, and many speakers have commented on that. The serious concerns of DFO and MOE, the Ministry of the Environment, have not been satisfactorily answered. For residents who now depend on wells for water, if their wells go dry or their water gets contaminated, the Director of Corporate Administration honestly said there is no backup plan in place for that. That is also unacceptable. This plan does not address the concept of complete community, which, as I remember it, was one of the, I would say, very valuable items in the terms of reference of impact. But the committee did not consider its inclusion in the plan. And I have read stories in the newspaper recently, following the election, where you, Your Worship, said that what you're interested in doing is seeing that the community is built here where people can walk, live, play, and I think there was one other quality that you mentioned. Now, I don't see how the issue of job creation has been created in this plan, so that the whole idea of what you have been talking about in terms of a complete community, for me, is just plastic wording. It's not addressed in this plan. And the last point that I have, which I would like to elaborate on, is that any plan that is before anyone has to be looked at in terms of the process that was used to develop it. And I would say that, to make the main point here, the process of developing the plan was rife and riddled with conflict of interest, as many speakers have said. I had, in previous presentations here, begun to address the process of developing the plan, and I noted the point at which I had to stop because of my time, so I'd like to continue with that from where I left off. I had talked about the composition of the committee, then I talked about conflict of interest, and I talked about the role of the chair of the committee. Now I want to talk about the actual content of the committee and its work, and I'm saying, I'm going to abbreviate, because I know you don't want to hear so much about process, but the point is that the agenda of the working committee, and those of you who are up there who didn't attend the committee meetings would not know about what I'm talking about, but the agenda of the NPAC was primarily determined by the working group. Those people in the audience who don't know what that is, but by the working group and by the consultants. It was primarily determined by them. The next point that I'm abbreviating was the rush timeline, and you know I've spoken about that at delegations before. The next point has to do with the participation itself in the meetings. I attended, I can't tell you how many meetings, but sufficient number of meetings to say to you that at many of the meetings that I observed, discussion was dominated by 3 or 4 people.
Can I suggest I'm going to rein you back again to the bylaws? I don't want to hear about the process, please. Thank you.
All right.
How it affects your property interest, that's what I'm interested in, the 3 bylaws. Not how, who formed it, how they behaved in the room and here. It's more to the benefit of those bylaws that I want you to comment on how they affect your property interest.
Well, I've said, Your Worship, and I don't want to argue or debate you, I've said, so I'll say it again. The process of developing a plan is as important, if not more so, than the plan itself. That is my opinion.
But what I'm hearing is that you don't like the process. That's fair.
I'm not saying that I don't like the process. I'm saying the process was wrong. It was flawed and riddled, and therefore the plan has to be looked at by examining the process. That's all, and I'll stop there. I'll respect your ruling me out of order.
Thank you.